Okay, here's our test review B, page 1. I'm going to go over this in detail about how to answer these questions. In the first example, you need to simplify each expression, and you can simplify it as a fraction or as a decimal. So first I'm going to show you as a fraction, and then I'll show you as a decimal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert 1.5 into 1 5/10, which is equal to 1 1/2. So now I can add them, 3 3/8 plus 1 1/2. I must find a common denominator, so I multiply both the numerator and denominator by 4. It's going to give me 3 3/8 plus 1 4/8. Now when I add them together, I'm going to get 4. 3 plus 4 is 7, and the denominator stays the same, 8. 4 7/8. Okay? If I want to do it as a fraction, I first have to convert 3/8 into a decimal. That's a little bit more work, so I'm just going to work with the 3/8. And that's going to be top in, bottom out. So the 8 can go on the outside, 3 on the inside. 8 does not go into 3, so I put the 0, put the decimal point, make it 30. 8 goes into 30 3 times, that's 24. I subtract and I get 6. Add a 0, make it 60. 8 goes into 60 7 times, and that is 56. Subtract and I get 40, make the 0 to make it 40. 8 goes into 40 5 times. Now when I add those numbers together, I'm going to have my 3.375 plus 1.5, make those zeros, add them up, that's going to be 5, 7, 8, decimal point moves down, 4. So I'm going to get 4.875, which is the same as 4 7/8. Okay? For problem 2, I'm going to do this similar. So first I'm going to do a fraction, so it's going to be 10 over 1 times, and that's going to be 9 over 4. I have to turn them into improper fractions, remember. Then I'm going to cross cancel, so I'm going to divide them both by 2, and divide that by 2, and I can divide that by 2. That's going to give me 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now when I multiply, I get 45 over 2, which simplifies to 22 and 1/2. Alright, now if I want to do this as a decimal, first thing I need to do is turn 1/4 into a decimal. So I'm going to just look at the 1/4. 4 is going to go on the outside, 1 is going to go on the inside. Then I'm going to, 0 goes into, 4 goes into 1 0 times. That's going to be a 0. Put my decimal point, make it 10. 4 goes into 10 twice, that's 8. I subtract and I get 2. Make that 20, and 4 goes into 25 times. And now I have 0, and now I'm done. Okay, now I can take that answer and I can multiply. So I'm going to do 10 times 2.25. Remember that you have to put the 2, the whole number, back in front of your fraction there. So it's going to be 2.25 times 10. It's going to be 0 for my first rows. Start with the 0 for the next row. That's going to be 5, 2, 2. Add those together. 0, 5, 2, 2. I have 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal point. 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal point. So that's going to be 22.5 as my final answer. So that's how you do those as a fraction or a decimal. Okay? Next set of questions, 3. Okay, we're painting a room. I want to know the area. How many square feet of paint do you need to the area to do the room? Remember, area is length times width. So I'm just going to multiply the length times the width. And it doesn't matter which one you put on top because they're both 3 digits long, so you can put them either way. I do not need to line up my decimal points. I just need to multiply them. 5 times 5 is 25. Put the 5, carry the 2. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37, put the 7, carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. And put 0, start the next row. 2 times 5 is 10, put the 0, get a 1. 2 times 7 plus 1 is 15, put the 5, carry the 1. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. I'm going to start with 2 zeros for the next row. 8 times 5 is 40, put the 0, carry the 4. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 is 60, put that. 0, carry the 6. 8 times 1 is 6. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 6 is 14. Now we can add those all up. I'm going to get 5, 7, 13, carry the 1, 4, 4, 1, and I have 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal point, 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal point. So my final answer is 144 and 375 thousandths feet squared. Okay, your units are squared feet. It says it right in there, so you got to be careful of that. Okay, number 4. Okay, in this one we have the one that we have to do a lot of stuff. First, we have one fish tank, $39.84. So that one's pretty easy. I don't have to multiply that by anything. I'm multiplying it by 1, so I can do that in my head. The next thing is the food. So I have 3 canisters for $3.39. So I'm going to do $3.39 times 3. 3 times 9 is 27, put the 7, carry the 2, that's 9, 11, put the 1, carry the 1, and that's 9 plus 1 is 10. Next, that's it, so I have 1, 2 behind, 1, 2 behind, so that is $10.17. Finally, we're going to have the fish themselves. We have 10 for 75 cents, so I'm going to do 75 cents times 10. 0 for the first row. Start 0 in the next one. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. Add those together. I have 2 numbers behind the decimal point, so I'm going to have 2 numbers behind the decimal point in my answer. So that's $7.50. Now I can add those 3 numbers together. $39.84 plus $10.17 plus $7.50. Add those together. 1, carry the 1, that's 15. Put the 5, carry the 1. Decimal point moves straight down. That's 10 plus 7 is 17. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. So I end up with $57.51. Notice how I rewrite all of my answers. I don't just try to use my work and circle the answer within the work. You always want to rewrite your answer so it's easy to see. Alright, number 5. Here I'm buying a TV. It's cost $499.44, and I'm going to pay equal payments. Well, since I'm going to pay equal payments, that's division. Anytime you're going to break stuff up into equal payments, that's division. So I'm going to do $499.44 divided by 6. Top in, bottom out. So I'm going to do 4. I'll move this up a little bit. So I'm going to do $499.44. And I'm going to divide that by 6. 6 does not go into 4, but it goes into 49 8 times. Make that to 8, and make that 48. I subtract, I get a 1, bring down the 9 to make it 19. 6 goes into 19 3 times. That's 18. Put the 18, I subtract, I get a 1. Bring down the 4 for 14. Don't forget to move my decimal point up. 6 goes into 14 twice. That is 12. I subtract, I get 2. Bring down the other 4 to make it 24. 6 goes into 24 4 times. That is 24, so I am done. So my final answer is $83.24. Okay. And number 6. And number 6, I have $339.58 is what I need for the bike. I have $286.34. That's a subtraction problem. I need to find the difference. How much more do I need? I need to find the difference between the numbers. So I'm going to subtract them. Line up your decimal points when you subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. Decimal point moves down. 9 minus 6 is 3. I cannot do 3 minus 8, so that has to become 13. And I borrow from that 3 to make it a 2. 13 minus 8 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. So my final answer is $53.24. Okay. I'm going to stop there for this video. I'll make a second video for the second page. So that's page 1. If you need to go back, watch any of it again, pause it, and listen if you need to.